Hey everyone, welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel if you're someone that was here a long, long while ago, maybe not that long. I'm Holly Burby. I am a relatability coach and strategist, and my commitment is to support you in strengthening and deepening your emotional connections with other people and with yourself. And that is what my content on this channel is going to be all about. In addition to hosting this video content channel for you, I also have my podcast, Relatable Matters. You can catch that on all podcatcher apps, but you also can catch it at the Relatable Matters podcast YouTube channel as well. So whether you like video of a podcast or just the audio, whatever works for you, whatever floats your boat, that is also available to you. But I want this channel to be a place where I can have a little bit of a mixy mix of content and maybe even some blog type stuff here and there about how I am applying principles of relatability to my own life in a way that I think would be relatable, would give you a sense of practice what I preach. And maybe there are tools and tips and tricks and knowledge hacks that you can then take into your life with the people that you care about the most or people that you don't really need to care about the most, but you have to deal with them, right? Because that's a thing too. And also use all of these things to help you get to know yourself better as well. So thank you for subscribing to this channel. Thank you a ton for also checking out the Relatable Matters podcast and that YouTube channel as well and subscribing to those too. And with that, let's talk about my topic of the day. I thought it would be a great idea out the gate, first episode on this channel in a very long time, to tell you the 12 different areas that I consider to be my expertise. And I don't want this video to sound like a resume in the sense of, oh, I'm certified in this and I'm certified in that. Like nobody cares. Okay. People you might not, but I'm just gonna say nobody needs to hear that or wants to hear that all day. But for the record, I think each one of these 12 is going to be an example of who I am and what is important to me, and therefore things that I think could or might be important to you as well if you'll really like the content here. So, in no particular order, let's go. First and foremost, thing that I am a specialist at is self awareness. Now, something that you need to know about a person who becomes self aware, essentially what that means is in time, a self aware person develops the ability to be able to look at their thoughts, look at their actions, their behaviors, kind of like an outsider looking in, can create a conclusion that's kind of neutral, releasing judgment, releasing shame. Acknowledging when they feel a certain way or think a certain way, and those feelings or those thoughts take them to, like, results that they don't want, and so then they can stop. And they also can choose to think or feel differently and choose to look at the world and their circumstances from a neutral perspective because then they have a higher likelihood of making their life what they want it to be. Now, am I a guru? No, not at all. I am in the trenches of life just like everybody else. Again, that's why I want this channel to be a little bit vlog-ish too, because I want to share with people some of the things that I experience as a coach or just a human being or as a partner to someone or as a mother figure to a little girl. Like there's just so much stuff that makes me second guess. But my ability to be self-aware, to approach, wow, that was my result. That was the outcome, and practice neutrality and practice forgiving myself for making mistakes or for getting a little too excited or too nerdy or too, whatever it is. And so self awareness is something I'm very passionate about. My work in self awareness really just began with my interest in living a better life for myself. I would say, I don't know, about 8 or 9 years ago. So over the years, I have taken courses, I have led transformational leadership trainings in person. I have written online classes and supported people with mindset hacks and just learning how to be more aware of how they think and how they feel. So that is one of my areas of expertise. Number 2, and again, I'm not gonna go on and on about every single one of these, but that's kind of an important one. It's kind of the self-awareness is really the big umbrella of coaching. So real quick before I go on to number 2, self-awareness as a coach, I am supporting you in becoming more self-aware because I am an asker of questions. I am a very curious person. And so through my asking of questions, it gives my clients and my audience an opportunity to come up with your own thoughts. I'm not here to tell you what to think or how to feel or what actions you should take. If you want me to be a consultant, I can do that too. Happy to do it. But from a coaching standpoint, it's really about presenting those curious questions that I'm really great at generating for my clients so they have an opportunity to answer them for themselves and know themselves on a deeper level. Okay, enough about self awareness. Number 2, another category that I am an expert in is boundaries. Now, does that mean I always set boundaries and keep boundaries and I am perfect? Again, by no means. I am very, very human. Case in point, I just made a post the other day on social saying, oh my goodness, I almost did again. I have it in my calendar for this calendar year that the very last week of every single month, I will not have one-on-one clients in my schedule because I need time every single month to sit and create content. Or I also lead workshops for different organizations in my area. I live in Southeast Michigan outside of Detroit. And I need days of the week where I am not on client calls. I got to go do that. But I have a boundary that final week of every month is gonna be for me to be creative and or to go be in service locally. And sure as all things certain, I have multiple times in the last week had people, my clients who I love and I adore, need to reschedule something. And the first thing I'm looking at is, oh, but I have that week that's super open. It is so easy for me just to give it away. And so for you, you might think of boundaries as only being serious things, but boundaries are really about honoring what it is that you want to keep close to you, for your family. Boundaries are not designed to be about repelling things. It's really about protecting what's important. The next category that is a specialty of mine is values and principles. And one of the mottos that I have as a relatability coach is when you know who you are, you know what to do. That means you got to know your values. You've got to know with certainty what is important to you. What do you stand for? And a way that a lot of people phrase it is, well, I know what I don't want to be. And if you are thinking that right now, like, I want to live my life where I don't want to be a jerk to people, right? Like, I want to be in a relationship where we don't fight a lot and we don't nitpick or whatever it is that you're telling yourself. I totally understand creating values that say things like, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that. But what I want to use this content on this channel to support you with is identify, what do you want? Like, what do you want? What do you stand for? What is important to you? Because when you are really clear on those values, decision making gets easier too, because then we can make decisions in our life and undo a lot of or avoid a lot of the decision fatigue so many of us go through because we can make our decisions based on, does that align with who I say I am? Does that align with the values that I believe in? And then we don't have that gray area. But if you haven't taken the time to get to know yourself in a long time, then this is going to be problematic. It's going to cause a lot of back and forth anytime you're looking to make a choice in your life. Next category of a specialty of mine, the fourth area or the fifth area I think I'm at by now, I'm losing count. Somebody keep count for me, is vulnerability. Now, vulnerability, if that just makes you cringe and clam up and you don't like it, okay, relax. We are amongst friends. Okay. One of the things that I have naturally been good at my entire life is being very open and wearing my heart on my sleeve. Now, I would weaponize that when I was younger and less self aware because I thought I was being vulnerable when I was crying or upset about something. But really, I was just being dramatic and being a victim to everything. It was rarely my fault. It was always somebody else. Okay. So younger me didn't understand what vulnerability is. Myself, little wiser, right? Like, a little older, a little wiser. Vulnerability just means that you are opening up to others about who you actually are, what you think, what you are feeling. And vulnerability doesn't mean that you necessarily are crying and in a puddle on the floor. It just means that you have the willingness to share with people just who you are. I don't know how else to put it. But I think people have this because if you actually look up vulnerability in the dictionary, there is a definition that says that vulnerability says that you are up for attack and are open for attack. Now, when you open up to someone, could that person come back to you and attack you, put you down, make you feel bad about yourself, make you feel stupid for opening up, or tell you that what you're saying or your thoughts are not okay? Absolutely, people can do that. So there is some truth to the opening up part. But if you become vulnerable, being vulnerable is not a guarantee that you are going to be attacked every time. And that's where important boundaries come in, right? Because if you surround yourself with the right people, the right places, you're clear on your values and you know the kind of people that you want to associate with, then you can be vulnerable with them because they are emotionally safe people for you to be around. Next topic. I believe this is number 6. Like, I'm going a little out of order here. I am a specialist when it comes to emotional regulation, and I will also call this getting grounded. Now, not grounded like when you were grounded as a kid or when you ground your kids now, getting grounded in the same way that when you think about a lightning bolt going through the sky and flying all over the place, the lightning bolt strikes the lightning rod and the lightning rod grounds the lightning. Okay. So it takes something that is chaotic and all over the place and unpredictable and centers it, brings it to one central location. So when it comes to living your life in, the reality is we're all going to have times where life feels chaotic or really uncomfortable. And in those chaotic moments, it's important to have, if you don't like the chaos, you don't have to do this. But if you don't like the chaos, it's important to know how to emotionally regulate yourself. When you feel angry about something or pissed off about something or really sad or devastated about something or anxious about something, how do you regulate your nervous system? Take that lightning rod, or that lightning bolt rather, of sadness or of grief or of frustration or of anger, and center it, calm it down. It's not about destroying it. It's not about saying, "Oh, you're angry, just be happy." No, we're not doing that here. Like, another mission of mine is to keep things realistically relatable as well. We're not gonna take your anger at level 10 and just tell you to go all the way to the other side of the spectrum and experience joy and bliss. That's just not gonna happen. But if you can learn self-regulation tools, it's gonna take your anger from, say, a 10 down to an 8 or a 7. Okay, now you're not seeing red. You can still feel angry, but you're going to be able to go function in your life. And that also is going to improve how you can operate in your job, your career, your day, your habits, but it's also going to help you to still cohabitate with people in your life and handle your responsibilities that you get to handle because you are an adult. So, emotional regulation. So much to say on that, but I will stop there. Number 7, authenticity. I heard this quote today that was so stinking good. Seth Godin said this on a podcast. He said, "People don't want you to be authentic. They want you to be consistent." Like, I just thought that was so brilliant because for me, I see being honest and being authentic very, very similar, if not almost the same. Maybe they're like cousins, right? So, authenticity, when I say I'm a specialist in this, I am an advocate for you getting to know yourself so well. You know what makes you tick, you know what ticks you off, you know what inspires you. But then when you know that information and then you go and present yourself in the world in that same way, you're not manipulating who you are, molding yourself to be a certain way. So, authenticity is really about showing up and feeling like who I am at home is who I am at work, is who I am with my kids, is who I am with my significant other, is who I am when I'm alone or with my friends, right? And when he said, people don't want your authenticity, they want your consistency, I thought that was so interesting because I think so many people are quick to call somebody inauthentic or two-faced or what have you because they experience that person as being up and then down, or they are an optimist and then the next day they're a pessimist and then the next day they are like they're super joyful. And if they're inconsistent, if they're all over the place, if they're not predictable for whatever reason, then that can be considered, well, they're inauthentic. Well, are they inauthentic? Are they faking it? Or are they just not consistent with their moods? And that could be part of emotional regulation. All right. Number 8, couple left here, confidence. So many of my clients have said that the number one thing that they took away from our time together was actually this one and the next one. So I'll just group them together: confidence and trusting themselves. Confidence isn't something that you earn, confidence is a way of being, meaning that you can choose to be confident whenever you like. I actually hate the phrase or greatly dislike the phrase fake it till you make it, because I don't think anybody should be faking anything because that leads to shame, hiding things about ourselves, hiding thoughts, hiding feelings, hiding our needs, hiding our desires. But instead of fake it till we make it, why not first learn who you are, your values, what's important to you, what you need, what you want, how your emotions regulate themselves, how they don't know that, and then on repeat and consistently present yourself to the world and to the people that you care about. That creates confidence. Confidence comes with experience. Okay. So it's a mood. You can generate it whenever you want, but you don't want to do it when you're faking it because that's not true confidence. That's faking it. And trusting yourself, the other thing I'm like a specialist with, is with my clients, a lot of them, because they were lacking that confidence or weren't clear on their values or had a really hard time holding their boundaries and setting their boundaries, for a lot of them, they learned to trust themselves because they had to consistently show up in the world as the person they choose to be, as the person that they feel is the real, authentic them. And showing up consistently is not only about who they were being to the people outside of them, but more so trusting themselves to show up for them. If they have a want, if they have a need, can they express it? If they make a promise to themselves or a commitment to themselves, can they honor that promise the same way that they honor that promise with other people in the world, right? A lot of recovering people pleasers. I'm one of them. Okay. So confidence and trusting themselves. The last 3 things that I am major proponent of and a specialist in when it comes to working with my clients and providing you content, is growth mindset. Growth mindset is all about daring to ask for more. We are in a society, especially here in North America or in the United States specifically, where we are told if you make a certain amount of money, you should just sit back and be quiet. Or if you have a roof over your head, or if you have your health, you don't need to ask for anything more, or how dare you ask for anything more. And that is problematic because it doesn't encourage people to grow to their full potential and to their full purpose. So a growth mindset is all about keeping a vision at top of mind of where do you want to go next? Where do we want to move the ball forward in our life? What category of our life? Can I dare to ask for more? Do I know that I am worthy of that, that I am deserving of that? And if I have thoughts that tell me I am not, how do I work through those and heal those? That is absolutely something I work with my clients, and I'll be teaching you a lot about on this channel. Last two, masculine and feminine energies. Those aren't the two. That's actually one category. Every single one of us has masculine and feminine energy. These energies are just that. They're energies. I used to be a science teacher. I was a science teacher in middle school and then a high school chemistry teacher. And in my time in the classroom, I also taught physics at some point, and chemistry and physics are all about particles and movement. And we are all made of energy. And there is a type of behavior of certain energies that is very masculine, very linear, very direct. And then there is also another type of energy that is very feminine, that is very receptive, that is circular, that is creative. And regardless of your gender, regardless of your sex, regardless of like your sexual orientation, you name it, it doesn't matter. All of us have masculine and feminine energy and some blend of it. But our blend is different. Our recipe, our ingredient tilt or ratios is different in everybody. And that impacts how you receive, how you ask, how you interact with people in your life that you love. It can cause major problems if we have people who are leaning too far in the masculine energy, and it can also cause nothing to get done and lots of swirliness and chaos if we're leaning too far feminine energy. So that is a huge thing that I work on with my clients. And in addition to that, I also have a group coaching program with my biz bestie, Liz, and we host something every single month for women called the Feminine Power Society. So I'm a big nerd about masculine and feminine energies. And lastly, you made it to the end, almost, personalities and personality styles. When it comes to relating and knowing who you are, there's different things you need to know about yourself. Specifically, what is the personality style that you most often show up with in different areas of your life? Because you may have, I'm not saying that you are disingenuous or a different person, but you may have a style of thought patterns and actions when you are in your workday as compared to when you are with your kids or with your best friend or with your neighbors or by yourself. How you do things is also determined by your personality style. And we can shift that personality style to accommodate what is needed in the space. So, this makes you more relatable when you know the personality styles because you can shift and adapt to the people who are around you. If you notice most of your family is showing up one way, you'll see what is needed and you can be an asset and the missing puzzle piece. This also can apply when it comes to relatable leadership. You can bring to the table the thing that is missing. So, knowing your personality style, knowing other people's personality styles is something that I love to geek out about. I love to talk about. And I know it is so important for you to know when it comes to knowing yourself and relating to other people. So that wraps up the 12 areas that I am a specialist in to some extent. I'm not saying I am the expert of all experts. I present this list very humbly to you, but I wanted to start off my channel again with this because if any of today's list strikes you as, ooh, I want to learn more about that one. I want to know what it is. Drop me a comment and tell me of the 12 areas of specialty, which one stuck out to you the most, because I want to know what type of content I can be making for you. Ask your questions too if you like, but at minimum, tell me down below in the comments, what are the areas that you're like, "Oh, I'm in the right place." Click subscribe. I so appreciate you being here, taking the time to watch and to listen. Can't wait to see you again next time. And until next time, love always in always.